Okay. Today is just introduction session. Fine. Today is introduction session, introduction to concepts and introduction to myself. Okay. So as this is the demo session, that is the reason I'm waiting for the students to join. Demo classes will start a bit late, like 5 minutes. We'll wait for the students, but regular classes means we'll start on the time. And myself, Madhuri. Okay. So I'm going to handle your shell scripting class. Okay. I also teach Linux administration, AWS, Amazon Web Services. Okay. CCNA. I also teach. Okay. And this class is for shell scripting. Mhm. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. your class timing. This is fixed time. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. is the fixed time. Any working are there? You can message me on the chat box also. If you can't speak, you can message me on the chat box also. Is there any employees working are there? Working people? Okay. Anyone knows Linux operating system? Anyone knows how to work with Linux? Like basic commands, anything? Remaining? Okay. So timings is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Duration 30 days, 30 working days. And classes will be from Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday classes will be there at 10 a.m. And notes, whatever the concept I'm explaining, I'll make a note and I will share the notes. Okay. If something I'm explaining means while explaining, I'll make a note. So for example, like this. Something if I'm explaining means this is not shell scripting, this is Linux administration. So I'll make a note like this and I'll share that notes. So I'll share the notes on Telegram. There will be a Telegram group. Okay. So you can contact me on the Telegram. So Telegram link, DURGASOFT team will give you. So that Telegram group, which you get for this batch, that group is permanent. Okay, so you can contact me anytime on that group. So after finishing the course also, I'll be there in the group, Telegram group. You can message me on if you have any doubts, if you're doing any practicals. Further, if you are doing any new topics, if you're trying to configure anything you're doing, if you want me to support, you can ping me on the Telegram. Okay. And this group will be permanent. And you will get the recording videos also. Whatever the concept we are discussing, that recording videos also you will get. It means today if the class we done means next day they will share the recording video. So you'll get the recording videos also. If you are confused with any topics, you can go through the recording videos, or because of any reason, if you miss the class also, you can go through the recording videos. Okay, but in the classroom itself, you can ask me if you have any doubts. If the topic is not clear or you confused, you can ask me in the classroom itself. I will clear the doubts. If you want, I will explain also twice. Okay, and this course is designed for freshers. Completely, it is designed for freshers. So those who don't know anything, it is designed. So we start these classes from basics. So shell scripting, I will show. Scripts, I will show on Linux operating system. How we write the scripting, that I will show in Linux operating system. So before starting Linux shell scripting directly, first I will explain about Linux operating system, like what is Linux, why people are switching to Linux, why technologies are coming with Linux, why programs we are writing on Linux operating system. Means there are some features. So that features I will explain first. Okay, so and today is just introduction to topics. Okay, so regular classes will be start from tomorrow onwards. 10 a.m. class timing will be. Try to be on time. I'll start the classes. No more demo sessions, nothing. Tomorrow onwards, regular classes will be there. But free link you will get. You can attend the session for 2-3 days. Most probably from Monday onwards, they will change the link. So paid link you will get from Monday onwards. So first we will do introduction to Linux. Features of Linux, I will explain. Then file system hierarchy of Linux, means what are the default directories we get along with Linux operating system. In Windows, A and B are reserved for floppy. Whether you are using or not, A and B are reserved for floppy. Right. It starts creating the drives from C. So after installing the operating system, if you open C drive, there you can see default folders like programs, library, downloads. There you can see some default folders, administrator, user, system32, like that. Similarly, in Linux also, Linux is an operating system. It is operating system like Windows. It is also an operating system. Linux is an operating system. Okay, what is the difference between Windows and Linux? Means Windows completely graphical user interface. Next, finish, like that. Right clicks and next. If you want to create something, just right click new folder, like that. If you want to delete, right click delete. If you want to copy, right click copy. We do like that simply. If you want to install something in Linux, Windows operating system, we have a setup file, .exe file. Then what we do? Next, finish. It installs that applications. That is in Windows. Okay, but coming to Linux, it is not like that. Linux works with command line interface. It is secured with command line interface. Linux works with commands. No next, finish, no auto runs. Okay, so we use for everything. If you want to create a file, if you want to create a folder, for everything, if you want to install something software, for everything we do configurations manually. We use commands. Okay, so it is very secure, but it is not difficult. Linux is not difficult. Don't think that I'm telling Linux works with commands, so it is very difficult to remember all the commands. No need to remember all the commands. Basic things, if you understand, that is enough. See, if you want to learn shell scripting, we write the scripting in a file. Okay, so in Linux file. So for that, you should have the basic understanding of Linux operating system. So that knowledge I will give here. Those who don't know anything about Linux operating system, I will explain that from zero level. So if you have no knowledge in Linux also, no need to worry about that. So here I will start everything from basics. So file system hierarchy. What are the default directories we get along with operating system? Directory is nothing but folder. So once we install Linux operating system, what we get along with the operating system, that I will explain. That is important for administrators, Linux administrator, but for you, just knowledge. For knowledge purpose, you require this. Next one is OS installation. So if you want to practice shell scripting, means we need an operating system, Linux operating system, right? There only we practice shell scripting. So how to install Linux operating system, I will show practically. But don't think that if you want to practice shell scripting means you must format your Windows and install Linux. Don't think like that. There is a software called virtual machine, VMware software. There is a software, VMware. This is the software. So you can install this software and there you can create virtual computer and you can install Linux operating system. No need to touch or no need to disturb your Windows operating system. That also I will show practically how to do. Without disturbing Windows, you can practice shell scripting. So that I will show practically also in next classes, coming classes. So OS installation using VMware. Okay. So once it is completed, basic commands I will explain. Means after installing the operating system, how to enter into Linux machine. Okay. So how to log in into Linux computer. After login, what you can see. Okay. How to execute the commands. What commands we execute basically. That I will explain. Basic commands classes will be there for 3 days. There are three classes for basic commands. So in basic commands, I'll explain about list commands to check the list of files and directories. LS commands we use. List commands I will explain. Creating files using cat, touch, VEditor. VEditor is very important. Cat, touch and VEditor are used to create files. VEditor is very important. So in order to write shell scripting, we use editor only, VI editor only. In real time, we use VI editor only. So about VI editor, I will explain. Then creating directories, copy command, move command, remove commands. So all the commands, basic commands, I'll explain. In Windows, if you are learning Windows means we don't take the basic topics like creating files, creating folders. No one will explain you because everyone knows that, right? But in Linux, it is new to many. So that is the reason here we'll start from the basics. So once these basic topics are completed, I'll give basic shell commands, or we call them filter commands. So these commands are used for checking the output of a file as per user requirement. Filter commands are used to check content of a file as per user requirement. Okay, so we have many basic filter commands. We have many filter commands which are very useful in real time. Like less, more, head, tail, grep, SCD. We have many commands like this. These all commands I will explain. And after finishing this, I'll explain user administration. See, in user administration, I will explain what is user, how to create a user. Okay, so for every employee, we create users and we give that credentials to that employees. So how to create the user, how to log in into the user, okay, how to assign the password, how to modify the user, how to delete the user. This all I will explain in user administration. And next one is group administration. In group administration, I will explain what is group, how to create a group. When we already have users, what is the purpose of creating group, how to modify the group, how to add users into group. So this all I will explain in group administration. Then basic file permissions. Okay, once we create a file or directory, we get default permission. They comes with default permission. So what is default permission of a file or directory? What is the use of that permissions? How to modify the permissions? Who can modify the permissions? That I will explain. Permissions are important for shell scripting also. And next one is advanced files permission. We call it as ACLs, access control list. Using this ACLs, I will explain how to change the ownership of a file or a directory. Once we create a file, they comes with default permissions, right? Similarly, if a user is created a file, so they are the owner of the file. If someone created a file, so for example, there is a user Jack. Jack created a file. So Jack is owner. So if you want to change the ownership to another user because of any reasons, how to change the ownerships of a file or directory? That I will explain in ACLs, advanced file permission. We call it as access control list. So here I will explain about that. Also, how to apply permission to a particular user or how to apply permission to a particular group. For a particular user or a particular group, if you want to apply the permission, how to apply that. That also I will explain in ACLs, access control list. Okay. And next, so by this, I will complete the basic concepts of Linux. So the concept which is required for your further classes, that concept I explained here. So then I'll give introduction to kernel. See, kernel is an interface between shell and hardware. It is an interface between shell and hardware. When shell transfers the data, first kernel receives the data and it will check whether the data is supported by hardware or not. So it is an interface between shell and hardware in Linux. So about this kernel, I will give introduction. What is kernel? What is the function of kernel? Okay, so that I'll explain here. Then introduction to shell. Shell is an interface between user and hardware. So when user executed anything, user gave some instructions to hardware, like a plus b, 2 plus 2, 1 plus 1, something. Instructions if you give, shell converts into zeros and ones and it transfers to hardware environment generally. So what is the function of shell? That I will explain. Then what is the use of shell scripting? I will explain. Advantages of shell scripting. Advantage of shell scripting. See, using shell scripting, we can create our own command. We can create our own commands. We can combine multiple commands and we can generate new command. Administrative work will reduce because of shell scripting. So this all I will show practically also. Okay. Types of shells also I will explain. Not only Linux shell, we have different shell scriptings. So about that, I will explain. And after that, variables. So there are system variables and user variables. The commands which comes along with operating system, those we call as system variables. User variable means the commands which we create manually, that we call as user variables. So what is system variable? What are the user variables? What is the differences? Okay, so that I will explain as variables. And next one is types of variables. Next we'll see types of variables. We have different types of variables like session level variables, user level variables, system level variables. Session level variable means the commands works within the session only. User level variable means that commands works within the user account only. And system level variable means that commands works along with the system. Any user can use that variables, means commands. What is that? I will explain clearly with practicals I will show. And everything I'll make a note and I will share with you on Telegram also notes as I told you. So variables, levels of variables, we'll see types of variables. Okay, then basic commands also I will explain. And there are symbols we have like shebang value we have. What is this shebang value? I will explain. Then echo. I'll explain about the echo. I'll explain about dollar symbol and single greater than, double greater than. Function of these symbols I will explain. Then read user input. Something if you generated script, how to read that script. That I will explain. Parameters in shell scripting. Operators. We have operators like relational operators, logical operators, arithmetic operators. Yeah. So this all I will explain. Here I'll explain about if, equal to, not equal to, how to use this all, how to use plus, minus, multiplication, addition, subtractions, multiplications, divisions, how to use in shell scripting. So how to use and, how to use or, this all, how to use, where we use if, where we use then. This all I will explain in this shell scripting course. Okay, so from basics, I will explain this. So as I told you, this course is specially designed for freshers. So those who don't know anything, so they will get a good understanding here. You'll get a clear understanding. Okay, so this course is about 30 days. So first I'll explain Linux basics, then I will come with shell scripting. And daily I will upload, I will share the notes to Telegram group. As I told you, everything, something if I explain, I'll make a clear notes and I will share to your Telegram group. And when you are doing the practicals, after finishing the course, you are doing the practicals also. If you have any doubts, you can ask me on Telegram. Even regularly, when I'm explaining something concept, if something I'm explaining, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in classroom itself. Something I'm explaining, you're not clear in it. You can ask me, I will repeat the concept. Or any command is not clear. If you can ask me, I will show again. Remember that. You can message me on the chat box. If you are not talking, if you can't speak, if you are in office or you are unable to speak, anything reason, you can message me on the chat box also. I'll check the chat box frequently. So I will message, I will respond you. Okay. So remember, tomorrow onwards, classes are starting. No more introductions, no more demos, like no more uh, same introductions. I will go as per my schedule. Tomorrow, I will explain about features of Linux. What are the features we have in Linux? That I will explain in tomorrow's session. Okay. And everything you'll get in notes into your Telegram group. Remember, once you registered with this course, paid classes are started. You'll get the Telegram link you will get. So join into the Telegram link. So I will share everything into Telegram. Okay, I'll save the notes and I'll upload to your Telegram. And as I told you, recording videos also you will get, but recording videos, 6 months validity they will give. You can access for 6 months recording videos, but Telegram, which you are getting from my side, that will be permanent. Uh, you can in touch with me on Telegram. If you have any doubts, you can ping me anytime. Sometimes I may respond late if I don't see, if I'm on class, if I'm in my work office. I may check late, but definitely I will check and I will respond. Okay. So if I'm not checking the message, means message me twice, thrice, no issues. So I will check so that I can respond you. Okay. So this is about today's session. Introduction is completed. So tomorrow, remember, features of Linux I will explain. Attend the session. If you are clear the way I explain, you can continue with the classes. Okay. So attend the session tomorrow also. There will be a free session only. Attend the class. So this is about today's session. We'll meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. Remember, regular classes timing will be 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Only demo classes, we are ending with late. Tomorrow, I'll explain features of Linux, right? Until I complete the features of Linux, I will take the class. Okay, that means I'll complete in 1 hour only. After finishing that concept, I will close the session. Okay, so that's it for today. If you want to ask me anything, you can ask me. Remaining can leave. Thank you for the session.